All right, everybody. John here at PT, Leigh Frank with Leigh Frank, and Dan Hudock with Sandler Training. How we doing?
Great.
Howdy.
Excellent. All right, Dan, define insanity for me.
It keeps doing the same thing over and over and over, but expecting something different. At least that's what I was always told.
Yep, me too. So, why does that so prevalent when it comes to sales and marketing? Let's start with the sales side, Dan. Why do we all fall into that trap of just, all right, I'm going to tweak this little tiny thing that, doesn't mean anything, but it's now officially different and magical things will happen. Why?
Well, let me take it even a different route. I call this the George Burns approach. So George
No.
Burns, a comedy type person, died at the age of 100, always smoked cigars, always was drinking. And you could say, well, he had long life because he smoked cigars and he drank. Well, no, he was just one of the lucky few that lived to be 100. And so what happens here is we get a sale. And it wasn't because we did anything great. We actually did a lot of really bad stuff, but we still got the sale. And then we think, I just need to duplicate that. and forget the fact that I lose the next 99. I made a sale 2.5 years ago doing this, so I know I can do it again. Well, that's insanity.
Yeah.
And so part of it from the sales perspective is when you're ready, when you're tired of getting pushed around by prospects and you're saying, I've got to do something different, write out your sales process the way you want it to be.
Yes.
And then stick to it. And don't think about, oh, but when I did it differently, I made a sale 16 years ago. No, this is the way I'm doing it now. And if the prospect's pushing you in a different direction, do not budge. Nurturingly, of course. So that's sales. Leigh, you want to take it away from the marketing perspective?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's very similar in the marketing perspective. And I think it goes back to this is almost like putting a therapist's hat on when you think about that idea of like, I continually get upset at this client because this client just keeps having the same response. Well, here's the thing, you can't control the client's response. You can control how you respond to it. So you can change. You can change how you're approaching it. And I mean, I think that's the big takeaway here when you think about insanity is all right, what is the element of this that has to change? What needs to change?
Yeah.
Do it
Yeah. And,
different.
and what you're describing is focus on what you control, not what you don't,
Yep.
and adjust. And we are staunch though when it comes to forms of marketing and forms of sales of this is the way it should be versus the reality of people buying off emotions, not off logic, all that kind of stuff. And so we try and round peg, square hole it because I think sometimes that's the way we want it to be versus how it really just is. So,
Yep. And I will tell you, this is another putting the therapist's hat back on. There's not a therapist in the world that wants to hear the word should because it's just not helpful. So,
yep.
yep.
Yep. There we go. All right, everybody. See you again tomorrow.
Have a good one.